So if we go to look at Kylen Schultz and Crystal Turner, so basically you've got to look at what information that you have been given. So there is video footage on the 13th of August at Woody's Tavern in Moab in Utah. So we know that Woody's Tavern, there's actual video footage there. We know where the campsite is. What is not confirmed is the 14th of August. That apparently they were sighted in Chevron, but they couldn't get the video footage, the camera footage. So we can't actually confirm that because we don't have actual evidence. The evidence we have is the 13th. They didn't turn up for work on the 15th. So Chris still works at McDonald's. In the morning of the 15th, she was supposed to turn up for work. She never turned up for work. So it's sometime between 9:30, 10 p.m. on the 13th and the 15th of August. Then they were found on the 18th. So it could be 3 to 4 days that the bodies have been there. So they're found on the 18th. It could be 3 to 4 days. And there's not a lot of information in the report. They don't give a lot of information. So they're saying the gunshot wounds to the back, sides, and chest of both of them. And yeah, just one tent with the bunny rabbit. And they also both of them had no underwear on, and one of them had the bra pulled over. And then they were found in the creek, but from what I understand is they'd been dragged into the creek. So I've been looking into it. I'm thinking it's either going to be one person or two people, and it's kind of weird if it's one person, because you think, is there sexual assault there? Because if it's one person, how are they doing it with the other person? Because there's no mention of any ropes or anything to tie them up. So maybe they've shot one of them and then sexually assaulted the other one, or there's no sexual assault and they've tried to make it look like a sexual assault. So that makes me think if it's one person, it could either be a man or a woman. So I wouldn't rule out a woman, and then the woman's kind of set it up to make it look like it was a man doing a sexual assault. That's just one option. Two people, you've also got the two people, you've got the option 2 men, or 1 man, 1 female, or even 2 females. It's a little bit different with this one. For some reason, I don't believe it'll be 1 man, 1 woman, or 2 females, but it could be. You can never rule it out. 2 men maybe, but they haven't released any information about the gun, if it was one type of gun or it was 2 types of guns, because that would be a big bit of information which would make you look at it and go, oh, well, I think it's only 1 person or 2 people. So there's a few things that I want to talk about, because a lot of people keep bringing up this creepy guy and that kind of thing, and we need to find out from the friends and family when they were last at the car that was in McDonald's, because if they went to do the tent, they're there with a Kia Sorento, they're in the tent with the Kia Sorrento at the campground. If they went from there to the bar and then from the bar back to there, then it doesn't make sense, because in the other car that they found in next to McDonald's, it said, if anything happens to us, we have been murdered. So obviously they knew the person before they went back, or they knew something was going dodgy before they went back to the campground. And this was in the car that was found at McDonald's. So this was not at the car that was found in the campground. So that stands out for me more than the creepy guy text, because I think a lot of people are focusing on this creepy guy text and not thinking, hey, this could actually be a female. It could be like a hate crime. And a lot of times in hate crimes, people forget that there are women that are against lesbian relationships.
New SMS from
Jason.
is new SMS from
This is the way into camp. This is the turn in the road where ATVs, UTVs would continue on dirt bikes. But if you back up here, this is where Crystal and Kylen camped, and the creepy dude was most likely right there.
So I'm just going back over the footage. The two pieces of video evidence that we have from driving around the campsite from two different perspectives. I got this from another Facebook page, but something kind of stood out for me because I didn't get to see this perspective before, and it's coming from the opposite side of what we saw on the last one. So the last one we drove up, they said that's where they're camping, in front of those trees. And from this other video, I got to see it from the opposite side. And it kind of stood out for me because everything looked like the exact same as the photos that I posted up before about the tent. So what we have from these photos of the tent is, if this is the same map area, the same campground, it's from the different angle, so we can look at it from that angle and go, okay, this is, so we've got two photos, we can have a look from that angle, because you see the car. So there's three cars. There's a 2008 Dodge Avenger, which is that one on the left side, and the photo by itself. And then next to that is so that is, in New Zealand it's a Holden Barina, but in America it would be a Chevrolet Aveo or a Chevrolet Sonic, and that is either between 2012 and 2020 that those cars were produced. That's the silver one, but I can't get a rego on that one. The 2008 Dodge Avenger, I found out the rego and given that in. So the silver Chevrolet Aveo, I think, is 2013 to 14. I've sold cars before, so I can see what model and year they are just from looking at it. But the one behind it, you can see there's another car there behind it, right behind it. And they mentioned that if this dude was camping out in the same area, he was right next to them, and he would be right on them. So I looked it up, because I know they drive a Kia Sorento, but I haven't got the license plate, so I kind of, looking at the car, guessing it's a first generation Kia Sorento, so it's either between 2002 and 2008, and 2007 and 2008 they both came out with a color with midnight blue, which looks a lot like this color, the same color, but I've got nothing else. I know with the Kia Sorento that you can either open up the glass at the back or you can open up both. So when I originally looked at it, I thought they just had the glass open up, but they have the full one open up. So what we know is, okay, where that blue car is, so these dudes are camped behind that. They got the Chevrolet where the pictures of John Holt is sitting. You see the other man in front of him, so that's facing, let's say, facing north from this video. So to the left of him is the tent, which you see from the other picture. You can see the tent, which, you know, you seen my old video when I thought it was Gabby Petito's tent, because it's the exact same one as Gabby Petito's, but it turns out that that's just a normal tent, like a very common one in North America. But the thing that stands out for me is that patch in front of them on the picture, like it's a fire pit patch. And on that other video, you see it in the same kind of area on the other video. So is this area that they've camped in, is this the same area? And if it's not, then who is this other guy in the photo? So we need to get hold of him. We need to find out what the other two cars in the picture are. But because a lot of dudes have hit me up about the last video and about this Spellman, because I've been going hard on looking up Spellman and all those other ones for ages, and because we've kind of, this dude's already been in custody, so that you think they would have asked him, and you think he's not a suspect, but it's just, I've gone back to it, and it's like, this seems like the exact campsite. If you look at like the trees and the colors of the trees, the soil, the colors of the soil, even the height of the trees, the area, like what's behind it, the height of the trees, the color. It's about 2 months or a month before that video was changed, so they wouldn't have changed too much. But yeah, that's what I was focusing on. I was like, this looks like it's the same area.
Kylen camped, and the creepy dude was most likely right there.
Kylen Schulte and Crystal Turner spend their final hours near this campsite before they're brutally murdered. The couple are recently married and camping something they have in common. A private investigator and Schulte's father are now using social media to help find clues that may lead to the killer. Specifically, her father says they're reaching out to campers who are in the area in mid-August.
We'd like to get the news bounced back to them so that they know what happened while they were here, so that they can go back and check their dash cam and see if anybody picked up a car or a vehicle coming on or off of County Road 4651, which is right where the girls were killed.
The request is similar to what happens in the Gabby Petito case. A camper reviews dashcam video and sees her van in the Grand Tetons. It's a factor that leads to her body. Petito and her boyfriend, Brian Landry, actually camp in the Moab area about the same time, but the Grand County Sheriff's Office determines the murders are not connected.
Well, we know they have ballistics. I don't know if they have fingerprints or DNA or what, but they have some way of ruling out Brian Laundrie. They have some way of ruling out these people's names that I have turned in.
According to a search warrant, authorities are looking for a creepy man that approaches the women at their campsite.
The girls saw him camp there, so we know he was camped too close to them. This guy didn't give him space. He crowded him, and that creeped him out.
Unfortunately, Schulte says the campsites are open to anyone, and there's no reservations required. He also says the campsites are isolated from others. In addition to the search for dashcam video, Schulte's private investigator is seeking satellite imagery in hopes of seeing something.
Maybe we could get a license plate or at least a clearer view of the vehicle so law enforcement may have some suspects in mind, know what they drive, and be able to pinpoint who they're looking for.
All this takes time, and Schulte knows that.
1 day is too long for me. 1 day is too long. It's torture for our family, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Now, authorities in Grand County are saying very little about this case. A new search warrant shows that they are requesting data from a local cell tower. They actually want to know who was making calls in that area on the day the two women were murdered. Now, if you have something to offer, visit our website, abc4.com, click on this story, and follow the link. For the Justice Files, Marcus Ortiz, ABC4 News.